Yeah, more rearing time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I see them?
Well,
I can see them. Okay. Cool.
I don't know, buddy.
Yeah, no,
Can
that
you?
works. That works. That works great. I'll just switch back and forth between them. Hey, everybody, thanks for bearing with us while we get the tech dialed in. We're trying something different this time, and we keep trying to add something new into every episode, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. This time we were trying to add in all kinds of crazy shit. Like, dude, I was trying to, do YouTube on this, all kinds of crazy shit.
Can you imagine how great our game is going to be once we're back in the same rooms with each other? It's going to be amazing.
Well, no, what's going to happen is we're going to perfect Skype first, and then by the time we're ready to do this perfectly every episode, we're never going to do it again because we're just going to be doing episodes.
You're going to be back in the studio the way it was.
Yeah. Hey, please welcome to the show, Jay Party Lord. We're going to be checking in on multiple of our friends in this episode. And
hey,
we wanted to start with one of our all-time favorites. This is now his third appearance on the show in 102 episodes. And we've got Jay Party Lord up in this bitch.
Hi, guys.
Dude, what are you up to? What are you drawing?
Right now, I'm just fooling around because I'm down in the studio for the first time in a few days. I kind of had most of my stuff set up at the kitchen table, but the house is getting a little crazy. So I was fooling around. This is just a sketchbook. I'm just drawing a cool skull with a knife.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a knife. I thought that.
It's a knife.
I thought that was another thing.
It's not a dick. I can put a dick in there if you want.
Hey, that would be great. Hey,
cool,
put a nice dick on it.
Okay. That's fine. I can work a dick in.
So
like dick.
So, dude, Jay, tell me, man, how's your quarantine going?
It's going. Just trying to rearrange how the hustle works. You know, I'm no stranger to using creative methods to try to get by. So it's stressful as it is for all of us, but we're moving along. We're getting ducks in a row, and I mean it could be worse. Is the main thing I'll impress to everybody. It could be a lot worse. So far, it's been a lot of hanging out with the family and getting time with my baby, which is pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
I'm sure, like most people, I deal with a little bit of frustration along the lines of just being motivated to do things because everything's uncertain and I don't have to do anything.
Right.
And it's the first time in a few years where I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, it kind of narrows your focus a little bit. Gordo, and I mean, you watch the show, so Gordo and I have kind of been talking about this. It narrows your focus and kind of hones you in on what you have control, like your circle of concern and your circle of influence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Like there are a lot of things to be concerned about right now, but there are not a tremendous amount of things over which we have direct influence. I mean, I've been hearing people talk that there might not be concerts until
mid 2021.
Yeah, dude, seriously.
I got the memo on that, and that kind of made me flip my wig. I was just like, holy fuck, really?
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's a wild and interesting time to be alive, Yeah. I thought 9/11 would be the thing I remember most in my life, but I don't know. This might be a very memorable set of years here for all of us.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the most boring car wreck I was ever in. Like seriously, like one time Jerry and I were driving in my car and it was super icy and like snowy out, and I was driving my 91 Ford Escort, and people, it's just ice capades out there and people are sliding all over the place, and I hit a patch of ice and we spun out and the radio went out for some reason. Like we're listening to the CD player. The CD player just went off for the duration of the crash, and we spun super slowly and did like a 720, like did 2 full turns and spun into this other car. And the other car, they got out, we all took a look and everybody was fine and we all walked away. But when it was going on, Jerry and I were like, this is the most, we had the time to say this is the most boring car wreck I've ever been in. Like, and I'm just
Everything
thinking,
moves
like,
slowly.
dude, it's like we've already surpassed the fatalities in 9/11. I think twofold. I think it's 2 9/11s and a Katrina that we're looking at in terms of casualties. Don't quote me on that, but that's a number I heard. And it's just like this very slow. It's like watching a meteor approaching Earth with the knowledge that it isn't going to wipe us all out, but it is going to wipe a fair amount of us out.
It's going to get a few of us.
A small
but at least
asteroid
you can still go to church. That's the important thing.
Dude, what the fuck is with that? What is with that? The people.
Let them fucking get it.
Did you see the video of the lady who said she's coming out of a service and she's like, "I'm washed in Jesus' blood. I'm fine."
Yeah, I saw that little bit. That was nice.
Yeah.
That was a nice little addition to the mental Rolodex of terror that's going on. It's like, oh, that's great. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, Jesus is going to save you from the coronavirus, and that's fine. Sure.
It was unbelievable, man. Hey, so Jay, while we got you on the line, dude, tell me what is going on in the tattoo world. Like, how are you and your contemporaries gonna like what's your plan to survive this?
Plan. I think
plan.
I think right now for most tattooers it's a whatever you can do scenario. Like whatever hustle you got it's time to pull it out. I am using a little bit of the time to get into things that I've meant to look into in terms of new skills and stuff. I'm going to be doing a little bit of venturing into enamel painting, I think.
Oh, cool.
I don't know how into like the sign painting world officially I'm going to get into straight out of the gate. I think some of that I'll leave for the people who have done their time and learned it the right way. And other than that, we'll see how that goes. I think most people are kind of freaking out. You know, a lot of us most of us are out of work, and
right, with good reason.
We're not traditional employees, so we can't apply for traditional unemployment. We can apply for the CARES Act stuff, but even Colorado State doesn't know what the hell to do with that right now. They're waiting for guidance.
You can't apply for unemployment? You can't do anything in terms of unemployment?
Not as an independent contractor.
Worker?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have to apply for that stimulus package, and they're not sure what's going on with that right now.
Yeah, that's kind of a clusterfuck right now.
The state of Colorado isn't even accepting applications for that last I checked,
Nope.
which was a couple days ago, because I'm keeping an eye on it. But, I like I said, I'm no stranger to the hustle, and I think a lot of us aren't. And so I'm confident in most people's abilities to find a way to get through this. And I think if we stick to supporting each other and, continuing to be positive, I think we'll be okay. I know that's a nice sentiment to have, and it's partially because I keep pretty stocked on food and stuff in general because I'm generally wound up for the end times. And
right. You're like what was the Care Bear that had like the storm cloud on him? Like he's like very lovey and cuddly and positive and wants nothing but good in the world, but he's still like the grumpy grouchy Care Bear. He's like Storm a grumpy Care Bear, Gloom Bear, or something like that.
I don't remember his name, but yeah,
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, that was Glare Bear.
Glare Bear.
I don't know.
No. He was an actual Care Bear, and he was kind of a grouch.
He was the blue one.
Yeah, but he still wanted good and cuddliness and sweetness
and
in the world.
His belly was like a cloud with a lightning bolt.
Yeah. How's
or
your
some rain, maybe?
How's your family doing?
Not as good as everyone's, I would guess. Everybody seems to be happy. Like I said, I've been spending lots of time with the baby, so that's been cool. She seems excited to have me around, which is
how old is she now?
Awesome. She will be 2 on May 2nd. She will get her golden birthday out of the way early, so I don't have to spend a bunch of money on that. Can blame her boring golden birthday on COVID-19.
Yeah, man. The fucking... fortunately, shit, Ransom's only 1. She's going to be 2. It's like... It's one of those things where, like, they are young enough where this is something that we'll have to tell them about down the line.
Yeah.
We're fortunate in that regard.
It's going to be a funny story where they're like, dude, I don't know why this is so memorable to you. You just had to stay at home for a month. Oh, my God.
Right,
it's going to be like, yeah, well.
You don't know. Those were crazy times, kid.
Those were crazy times, and you don't have a job, and you don't understand.
When everybody got the murder cold.
And the kids that are like 2 or 3 years younger be like, yeah, we're Corona boomers, So, like, you don't get us, and that it'll be a self-perpetuating nightmare.
They'll use the 19 when they're in their teens to define their generation. Like we're the COVID-19s.
Right. I've heard a bunch of
real
jokes
annoying.
The COVID-19. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for the teenagers. Dude, and it's like, I was telling the guys, I went and trimmed some weed today because I've got to hustle. So I've been, I'm very fortunate that I still have my job, but then I also, our side hustle came to an end today, and we were talking about how it's gotten to the point now where the first couple weeks was all, hey, live streaming and love and support and crafting and let's bake and this is sure is terrifying, but let's make the best of it and
just
Facebook
a week
quizzes.
Ago. Just a week ago, we were talking about like the goodwill that kind of popped up over the internet, and now that's all gone.
The shrinking goodwill.
It's because the reality is really starting to set in.
There's people that are really trying to keep it on that level, but like it is devolving. Like you can.
Well, and that's why I left my like feel good nice guy post for a week or 2 in, because it's going to be awesome for the first 2 weeks when everybody's off of work. But I mean, once it sets in that like everybody's off work and you're not allowed to go outside, it gets a little bit more, uptight and unforgiving. Right. And I get it. I started feeling it this week too. I think this is like a month in for me. And yeah, last couple days have been fucking brutal emotionally. Like the Alaska thoughts have been thick and heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there have been,
but I can't go to Alaska.
You can.
You can't.
I can't go the fuck outside. Like,
you can just go there in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, yeah, it's
I'm already there.
It really I'm like for the first time starting to consider like, it's almost like going to a desert island and suddenly everything that made you back where you lived just doesn't matter anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, it's been 2 weeks
irrelevant.
And it's already like, yes, once I played in a rock and roll band and we would play concerts and we had all these plans for the future. And
I'll tell you what, though, it makes you really thankful for what you do have.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what I've been feeling like. I have been feeling kind of this kind of sense of impending doom kind of creep up more recently, but I also am trying to keep in perspective like things that I'm really thankful for.
Yeah, man.
That's what's kind of keeping me afloat,
Right. No, I mean, and I've had plenty of projects going on. You know what I mean? Like I still feel like I'm doing plenty, but I also I was thinking. The main thing that I've been thinking recently is how much I want to use this as an opportunity to like prioritize my family and prioritize my son.
Yeah, man.
And I'm creating stuff, but I'm trying to create stuff in a very like low impact, 1 foot in front of the other, slow and steady wins the race sort of mentality.
Yeah, which I think over time helps you craft things a little bit more than just put things out,
Dude, I've been dumping everything into SoundCloud. I don't know if you've checked the Patreon feed lately, Jay. But
I've been watching my emails for sure. You've been posting a lot.
I've downloaded the stems. Okay.
Did you? Are you going to do something?
Yeah, I already started working on them. I wasn't even going to tell you, but fuck, I just blew it.
Will they work? Will they work on your phone? Can I download them to my phone and record on there?
Yeah, you could download them to like
because I have my bass rig and my bass guitar still.
Dude, you can do it on you can do it on GarageBand iOS. Like it's just a WAV file or whatever, MP4 file or whatever it is. But for the people who don't know what I'm talking about, we launched the Ruckus Remix Challenge this past week, and I've been seeing a lot of downloads on so I started this new page on SoundCloud called the MF Ruckus Seeds and Stems. So if you go to soundcloud.com/MF Ruckus the band, there's a page that is nothing but demos and stems. And I've been challenging people to do remixes or like do their own versions or write their own songs based on the stems that we made available on there. And
can I say something about that real quick?
Yeah.
Can I just say I have listened to the individual stems on that track like a couple times now, just trying to get a feel for what I want to do with it. And I got to say, you guys are even more talented motherfuckers than I thought you were. Listening to those stems, it's like, seriously, dude, it's like you listen to that and you're just like, what the fuck, man? I quit.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that, man.
You get to really get the feel for everybody's playing and like how much focus they put into all that shit, and it's
seriously,
it's pretty impressive.
I really appreciate that, man.
It sounds so good.
You know, I'm at this point where I'm starting to see that so much of what has become popular with folks is it doesn't really have to be all that slick. People kind of like to see how the sausage is made. You know, they kind of like to see the nitty-gritty
these days, for sure. I think
absolutely.
I think that's a new cultural thing that's happening. Is like, I think 50 years ago, people were like, fuck it, you know what you're doing. But these days, people want to see, exactly, like you said, they want to see how the sausage is made.
Well, and actually, like, I see artists that are way more willing these days to let go of the secret sauce, if you know what I mean. Like, they're willing to, like, let somebody in and see, like, oh, okay, this is what I use to achieve this sound, or this is how I do this. And that's pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is we only have so much time to do stuff. So I'm at this point where I am just like, on Patreon specifically, I have been dumping something on there every single day. You know, sometimes it's stems, sometimes it's a project demo that we did on GarageBand. But what I've been doing recently is just the original acoustic writing sessions that Tony and I did out in the backyard in like 2015. You know what I mean? So it's like here's us creating this song. You know, here's what it sounded like before 5 years went by and we took the time to craft it and go in the studio. And
it's broken down in its purest form.
Yeah, and it's super fun. And I thought the stems challenge thing would just be a fun, like, I've been seeing all the shit that's been going on with Riffbook, and we'll talk about that shit with Bart and Jen when they get on the program later on in the episode. You know, I've been seeing how much people got into that, and I'm like, man, we could just give people something to play with, and I'll bet a handful of them at least would produce something really cool.
Yeah, my homies from back home in Wisconsin are scattered all over the place now. But one in he's outside of Birmingham, Alabama somewhere, and one in Illinois did a cover of Weezer's No One Else the other day that they just recorded on their phones, and then my homie Dan cut it together, and it's really awesome. He did the guitar and the bass part.
Right.
And I think they're going to do some more. They asked me to sit in on, I think, Motor Breath by Metallica.
Cool.
So I might do that and put that out there. And
dude, Goldfinger beat me to the punch. I had this idea.
Well, that's exactly what they did, and that's the thing. Somebody sent me the Goldfinger one, and I was like, fuck that. My friends did it first.
Right.
Dude, I mean, Goldfinger is fine, but...
Dude, the videos that they did were really cool. But so what I was thinking of doing is I'm like, so I had a meeting with our label, and basically our label is like, there's really not much we can do for you right now.
Yeah.
You know, because all tours are canceled for the foreseeable future. No one's putting out any records or anything. And I'm like, well, you guys do have a reach. And so how
just
about
post our stuff.
Yeah, how about you just let me put up the money for a budget for a marketing thing. We'll send you some singles. We'll work on, and we'll create a bunch of content. And so I've been thinking a lot about music videos. And really the only music videos you can do right now are like this. are like this, or I've got Jake and Macy working on an animated video right now. But then I saw that Goldfinger video after I had been sitting there thinking, like, man, it would be really cool to just get the guys to each do a recording of them playing the track and then send that back. And I'm sure you'll see a lot of bands doing it, but
yeah, we've done we had a bunch of people submit videos for a video that we're putting together, that I'm putting together for
was it all you guys singing Imagine? Is that what it was? Because that's just so on point.
You ruined the surprise.
And not tone deaf in the slightest. Did you guys see that shit?
Yeah.
I mean,
but I have that.
I heard about it
because one of the grandparents bought it for us, and it's a illustrated children's book where the words are just the fucking lyrics to that song.
I have that. No, there was a group of celebrities did a video of Imagine where basically each celebrity sings a line from it. And they got a lot of shit for it because it was a little tone deaf and patronizing, in the middle of a pandemic. But I appreciate the thought, but they just got
about you?
Patronizing is Madonna's fucking thing that she did.
What did Madonna do?
Is anything as patronizing as things Madonna does?
Well, I mean, like, that's just classic Madonna, right? I mean, that's just what she does.
Yes.
But she actually delivered some kind of like little speech about how Corona is the great equalizer from her bathtub filled with rose petals. Did you see that?
No.
She's cuddling one of her adopted.
I mean, you can't find it now. She deleted that shit. But like.
Good.
I mean, like, really? Like, this is how? Okay, well,
that's pretty funny.
It's like when Gwyneth Paltrow posted that thing about how it's easy to eat on minimum wage, how it's easy to eat vegan diet on a minimum wage income.
Yeah, go back to your goof. Shut the fuck up.
That was like 6 years ago. And it was pretty ridiculous. I was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
That's not.
Well, hey, Jay, I'm gonna jump over and get Reed on the call. I just wanted to say, man, I love you a lot. Oh, dude!
That is badass.
You did that during the... Hold that up again. I wasn't on your screen.
That's live
amazing.
Remote quarantine art right there for your face.
Live recording.
I'll deliver that to you. We can donate it to the patrons or whatever. Sound good?
That's really cool, man. Thank you for doing that.
That's fucking cool.
Dude, thanks for coming on the call, man. I'm glad you're doing well. You and I need to just have a one-on-one conversation here soon and check in and have a pop-up chat.
Man. Sounds great.
I would really love that. Thanks for coming on the call, man. Love you lots. Take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon.
Love you guys. Gordo, wonderful to see you. Tell Reed I say hello.
Will do. We're going to add him right now and get his audio dialed in.
Awesome.
It's great to see you, man. Virtually.
You too, buddy.
Hey, everybody who's been watching the stream, thank you very much for jumping on. We've got, Reed just jumped on.
All right.
Okay. Hey, Reed, real quick, we're going to get your audio and video dialed in on the.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, we're going to get you dialed in, and while we're getting you dialed in...
Bye, Reed. Bye, Reed.
Yeah, Jay says hi and bye, Reed.
Hi.
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 Let's see.
Bye, guys.
Bye, buddy.
Can you hear
Love
me
you
now?
lots.
Later, dude.
Yeah, we can hear you, but we've got to get your audio source linked into the stream. So while you're doing that, real quick, Gordo, I wanted to tell you about something really funny that happened, and... So while this has been going on, I'm sure you've heard about all the scams that have been going on, like people trying to scam people for their stimulus checks, and and things like that. And I got this email that, I'm not going to lie, it shook me a little bit, but it's a scam that went out. So the subject line was just the name on my email address and my password.
Whoa.
Okay.
He's either not showing video.
Do you have your video on, Reed?
I don't know.
Yeah, that should be you. There should be a button. There should be a button, like a little camera button that turns on your camera.
I see a picture of him up there.
There he is.
Yeah.
Hey, he's on. Okay. So I get this email, and it's just the subject line is just the beginning of my email address and my password. This is what it says. And it says my password, and then it says, one of your passphrase. Let's get directly to the purpose. And I should mention all the text it's written in English, but with Russian characters. So it says, let's get directly to the purpose. Neither anyone has paid me to check you. You don't know me, and you are probably thinking why you are getting this email. I actually installed a software on the X video clips, parenthetical, adult porn website, and guess what? You visited this website to experience fun. You know what I mean. While you were viewing videos, your browser started out operating as an RDP having a keylogger, which has provided me access to your display screen and webcam. Just after that, my software gathered all your contacts from your Messenger, Facebook, as well as email account. And then I made a double screen video. First part displays the video you were watching. You have a fine taste, rolling on the floor laughing. And second part shows the recording of your web camera. Yeah, it's you. You do not have one but two solutions. Why don't we take a look at these type of options in details? First solution is to, what does it say? First solution is to, wait, where does it say? First solution is to dismiss this email. Then I am going to send you your very own video recording to every one of your personal contacts and consider concerning the embarrassment you will see. In addition, should you be in an intimate relationship, precisely how is it going to affect? In the second place option should be to pay me $1,900. Let's call it a donation. In this instance, I most certainly will ASAP erase your video. You can continue on your daily routine like this never happened, and you surely will never hear back from me again from me. You'll make the payment through Bitcoin. If you do not know this, search how to buy Bitcoin in Google. There's a Bitcoin address. If you have been curious about about going to the authorities, very well. This message cannot be traced back to me. I have covered my steps. I am just not looking to ask for money much. I simply prefer to be rewarded. I have a special pixel in this message, and right now, I know that you have read through this email. You now have 1 day in order to make the payment. If I do not receive the Bitcoins, I will definitely send out your video recording to all of your contacts, including friends and family, colleagues, etc. Nevertheless, if I receive the payment, I'll release the recording right away. This is a non-negotiable offer. Therefore, don't waste mine and yours, my time and yours, by replying to this email. If you need proof, reply with yeah, and I will definitely send your video recording to your 6 contacts. That is an email that I got yesterday.
I just have one question after all that.
Right.
Whose job is he trying to take, me or Ethan's?
Right? Dude, what the fuck? Hey, by the way, Ethan, I'm not getting Reed on the feed here. I'm not getting Reed on the feed. I can hear you. I'm just not getting your video up. I
can see him and hear him just fine.
I can see you here. So here's what's. I'm just not getting him on the.
Getting who?
I'm not getting Reed. I'm not getting the other guy.
Oh,
see?
Yeah, he dropped out.
Well, no, he's.
You can't
still
see
on
me,
there.
but I'm jerking off. I'll just show you.
Well, dude, there you are.
Yeah.
So,
He's just dropping out.
so this is what immediately popped into my head. By the way, welcome to the show, live from New York City. Our buddy Reed from Overdosed, Speed Wolf, and a bunch of other fucking shit, Splattered Records, all that. It's good to have you back on the show, man. It's good to see your face.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So this is the thing that, like, this guy obviously doesn't know me at all because I was drunk for 15 years, so shame is an emotion that I'm very comfortable with, first of all. Second of all, I think that most of the people who know me know that. And third, I will do just about anything for free content. So I'm pretty sure if he sent me that, I would just make it into a video and, like, share it with our patrons or something.
Were you just getting a spam email? I'm sorry.
Oh, did you not hear
no,
the Say it one more time?
No, I just heard you read through that, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, dude. It's a spam email where this guy had my password and had my email address, but then we're like at the trim talking about it, and I'm talking about it, and one of the guys there goes, "Yeah, that happened to a friend of mine. He told him to go fuck himself," and the guy sent the video to everybody at work, and the guy ended up losing his job. Jake Fairley told me today that it happened to someone that he knows, and he was like, "Okay, show me the video," and the guy sent him the video, but then he didn't do anything about it, and it didn't get sent to all his colleagues or whatever. You know, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like they send it out to 1 million people, and then like 100 of those people give them $1,900.
So it's just a random video of you doing whatever.
It's a video of me jerking off to really good porn. I mean, presumably. That's the other thing.
Are you afraid that other people will find out that you have really good taste?
Yeah, right? That's the thing, is it's like, I would be worried.
You nailed it. I think you nailed it right there.
I would be worried if I was into really weird, freaky shit. But it was like, I mean, I know what I look at. And that's the other thing, too. It would have been a really short video. Like, people would have watched it and then been like, oh, it's already over. It was like 15 seconds long. You know, and
how far does that threat go in 2020? You know what I mean? Like, I have proof that you look at porn on the internet.
This could destroy my reputation.
Yeah, I mean? Like, I don't. You're like, who does it? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right. It's like, yeah, everybody on the planet's looking at porn right now. Pornhub just gave away free subscriptions to their premium service to everybody in Italy. I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah, more than ever, it's a thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got too much time on your hands. You got to fill it with something. Hey-o. Hey, Reed, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. As you know, I live in New York City, and everyone's freaking out and calling me and wondering how I'm doing during this whole time. But we're okay, and it's just as weird here as anywhere else, in my opinion.
You guys just have a greater volume of people in New York.
Yeah, I think the politicians and the news media are freaking out more because of the structure of New York. It's so unique compared to anywhere else in the country. There's a higher concentration of people here than there is anywhere else in the country. Right. So, yeah, the panic and the level of like what could happen, I think, is sending people through the roof. But as far as like deaths in terms of ratio to how many people we have here on every square inch, like I think we're okay. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are just stacked on top of each other there, so it's like really freaking people out, and it's, you know, it's like one of the great hot spots on the planet right now. So people are kind of just paying extra attention to it, right?
Yeah, and it's like any major city that's crowded. It's dirty, and like disease spreads quickly. So when a disease that can spread quickly hits a city like this, I mean, we have to take crazy precautions. But I mean, it's the same precautions they're taking anywhere else. And I'm actually really surprised that people in New York were so well behaved and immediately like fell in line and stayed in their house. I mean, we don't really have we're not really known for like comfortable living quarters in New York. So like,
it's not very.
It's surprising. Yeah, it's surprising to me like how many people were like, oh yeah, no problem. I'll stay in my shoebox, and like 10 relatives, you know? Like
Right, dude, with my 15 roommates in a fucking studio apartment, you know?
Yeah, and it's, I mean, so it's fine. Yeah, it's a long answer, but I'm okay. How are you?
I mean, it's good, dude. I'm really curious what it's like on the street level out there in New York. Like, how are people acting just in your community, like locally?
So I live like at the top of Manhattan, and it's like a Spanish neighborhood where I live. It's all like Dominican and Puerto Rican. It's right near the Bronx Yankee Stadium. So my neighborhood's like, you know, like the joke in New York is like Spanish neighborhoods, like everyone is outside and inside at the same time. You know what I mean? Like they got to like, you know, like the whole family's like dancing like in the apartment and then down the stairs and then out to the grocery store, you know, like, you know, or like, you know, they watch TV in the windowsill. So it's outside and inside at the same time. It's like, so I was worried that our neighborhood would have a hard time like shutting down, but, it's pretty like well behaved, you know, like nobody's robbing each other. I mean, it's business as usual. It's just quieter.
Right.
Brooklyn just completely left. They all went back to their rich parents' house, and you know, but we're okay up in uptown.
Yeah, man. Your friend AJ Walsh says hi. Says
who?
Yeah, AJ Walsh. Glad all is well, Reed. Good interview. I don't know. Friend of yours.
Oh, okay.
Hey, shout out
Does he have
to
a video of me watching porn?
Everybody has an interview, a video of everybody watching porn. See, I think that would be the great thing is if everybody who received that email had the courage to just say, yeah, show me the video, and we all collected our videos and then made a compilation out of it. Like just made a music video that was like 1 second of like 100,000 people jerking off at the same time.
What if you just like, I just had an idea. What if you just one up the blackmailer like on the spot? Like if he's like, I got a video of you jerking off, and you'd be like, do you? Because I've got one for you. And you send him like the best video of you jerking off ever. And dude, it like has like your driver's license number on it and your name, and you're like, what are you gonna do now?
Dude, I have access to a production studio. I could set up lights and like a nice camera.
You'd be like, why would you use that low quality video? Here's a really well produced video.
Dude, like the front facing camera, I mean, it only records at how many faps per second, Ethan? How many faps per second does it record? 15 faps per second?
It's pretty fitting that you're talking about a jerk-off video and using a term as how many faps per second.
It's how many jacks per second.
Yeah,
I don't even know what faps are, but they sound like they should.
Well, it's actually FPS is frames per second.
How many flapjacks per second?
How many flapjacks can you eat per second? Oh fuck, man! Like so how are you affected in terms of touring and performance and everything? Because obviously you guys aren't going to be playing any shows or doing any tours for the foreseeable future. Did you take a big hit on that?
I mean, I won't lie. I'm definitely depressed because of all this. You know, I lost 3 jobs overnight. You know, I'm a musician and I build my life around it. And I sell records on the side. It's kind of affected everything. But my story's no different than anybody else's. But
right.
What I tell all my friends, I was like, the hardest thing to deal with this whole quarantine is it's like a dream killer for me. Like the reason I can work shit jobs like day in and day out is because I can always be like, all right, I got a tour coming up, you know, or, oh, I'm going to take my girl out to the West Coast. We're going to take a trip, or like,
right,
I'm going to hop on my motorcycle and split for 2 weeks and just work a bunch of crappy jobs and put money in the bank so I can do that. But this, you know, not only is it doesn't allow you to work jobs so you can stack money, but you can't like plan the future because nobody knows what the fuck is going on and when it's going to end. So that's like the hardest, like waiting game, like kind of anxious depression that's floating around. But
there's like that platitude that like everyone needs someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to. And it's like people can't be around the people they love. People can't do the things that they love to do. And people can't make any plans for something to look forward to. So like anything, like the 3 big things that promote well-being in your life are just completely cut away. You know what I mean? And we're very privileged where we live, obviously, but it doesn't change the fact that it fucking sucks, and it's miserable that we just have to shut that off and wait it out. You know, with just living with speculation at this point. I feel you, man.
I don't know. It's like I'm worried about a lot of stuff because, you know, it's hard not to panic for the obvious reasons because of health and how people are going to get along and how the economy is going to survive. But I worry that, like, once things come back together and, you know, like if next week they're like, all right, lights are back on, go back to work, you know, a lot of people aren't going to go out and be able to just like spend money right away. A lot of businesses won't be back open. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people will be scared to go to concerts because there's big groups. You know what I mean? It's going to be like a slow transition out of it. Right. I mean, I'm sure there will be plenty of like foolish people that'll be like ready to jump into the pool fucking butt ass naked. But like it's just like,
let's jump in the pool butt ass naked, man. Come on. Freedom.
I mean, sounds fun. But I don't know. I worry about the trickle effect of it. You know, it's frustrating to me being like a low level artist and like we all are in this chat. I just, you know, people are like, oh, this is the time to rebuild how we do live music or selling records or seeing shows or being a community. It's I don't know. The verdict's still out on like how it's going to rebuild and bring back, you know, things together. So I don't know. I'm worried, but I'm trying to stay positive. I'm thankful to be healthy. You know.
I hope it creates a vacuum where, like, when we do start playing shows again, people are just thrilled to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm really hoping for. And, like, I'm not the biggest baseball fan in the world, but because I can't go to a game, I've never wanted to go to a baseball game more in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
You know what I mean? I wonder if
I used to go to like 25
effect.
Rockies games every summer.
Really?
And yeah, because it's cheap and I love the Rockies. And I mean, I miss that in New York.
Yeah. They're our team. Do you go see the Rockies when they play in New York?
They rarely do because it's not the same. Like I live right by Yankee Stadium, and it's expensive to go there. And they're they don't often play because of the league differences. Right. But
and the fact that the Rockies really, I mean, haven't been terribly great in a terribly long time. Yeah. But they're our team, goddammit.
Last time I remember the Yankees played the Rockies one summer in Denver a couple of years ago when I still lived there. I went and saw the thing, and they had a huge banner over Blake Street, and it said, "Come see the Yankees," and then in small print it said, "Play the Rockies." And I was like,
Come see the Yankees, play the Rockies.
I was so upset about that. Like, and I bought like a ticket. I think it was 3 games in a weekend. I like took off work. I bought tickets. Me and my buddy, Scotty Eldorado. Scotty went to all the games, and like, he's got like tattoos all over his face. He looks like a maniac. So he's the best to go to baseball games.
Right.
And we went out and like, you know this in the change of Denver and stuff, if you go to a sports game for like any other team, like, and you're like a hometown fan, you're like by yourself, unless it's like the Broncos or something. But if you go to like a Rockies game with like purple and black on and like a Rockies shirt, it'll be like, and you go try to see the Cubs, get the fuck out of here. Like, you'll be the only Rockies fan in their hometown stadium. So you can imagine how it was with the fucking Yankees, because they're like a fucking corporate brand of baseball.
They're like going and patting you on the head and being like, "That's cute."
You're just standing. Yeah. You're standing at the intersection of insult and injury right there. I mean, that's where you're at. Wow.
Yeah. I went to this series of games, and I don't have a good memory, but I do remember like my shit talking skills were like off the chain at this game, and I was sitting nosebleed. And it was Scotty and I, and we were surrounded by it, and like the whole top deck was Yankees fans. We were it was me and one other like white-haired old like dude from Brighton that had purple on, and we were just like, "Yeah, go Rockies!" And the Rockies had a terrible season, but killed the Yankees. They beat them 14-1 the first game,
really?
And we were just like, getting hammered and like losing. I mean, we were just like, we were like, we don't negotiate with tourists. We don't negotiate with tourists. Like this one.
We don't
This dude was like,
negotiate with tourists.
I was saying like horrendous, like dark things to just strangers. Like we would hit like a 2-run like RBI or whatever, and we'd score, and I'd be like, oh my God, are you sad about that? Like, you know, like how are you gonna do at the Mile High level? And he's just like, fuck you, man, New York rules. I was like, oh yeah, how'd you do during 9/11? And I was like, oh wait.
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
Oh.
Whatever, man. I'm from a small town. I don't have anything cool to be proud of. I like my baseball. Give me a break.
Dude, we had dude, that's another, like, a thing that happens out here, and I'm sure you noticed it at that game, is like Denver is one of the few markets, one of the few towns where transplants and tourists feel completely comfortable shaming you about what you're into. Like about your team. Like, I went and saw the Avs play the Flyers, and I have never met a more rude, classless, obnoxious group of people. And because people from Denver are so like gee shucks and polite, like, we got bullied in our own fucking like home arena.
Yeah.
Dude, these
Phillies,
it's
funny.
Oh, they were awful. Go ahead.
So now that I live on the East Coast, if you take people from the East Coast, like that normally like here are pretty well behaved and they're not rude and they're not the walking stereotype you think they are.
Right.
If you take them out of here, they're immediately like, I'm from New York. You know what I mean? You're like, no, you're not, dude. You know what I mean? Like in New York, like we think you're an idiot. Like I don't know, and it's
they just turn it right back on. It's hilarious.
Yeah. You know how many people, like, I would go to like Rockies Cubs games and like you know, the new capital of the Midwest is Denver. Like the new capital of Illinois is Denver. You ever heard that joke? Like, because everybody from Chicago moves to Denver.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, for
and
real.
So you would meet these people at like Cubs games, and they were just like, yeah, I'm from downtown Chicago. And you're like, oh, where you? I'm like, no, you're not. You're from Evanston. They'd be like, yo, man, don't tell anybody that. And you're like, you know, it's just like, Denver is this. I feel like I'm going on too many tangents here, but Denver has like this unique identity because it doesn't really have one. Like, people are just pretty friendly and laid back. So you get a lot of people that are leaving their hometowns for a search of a new identity, and then they bring this like weird, like hyper stereotype of what they think they're supposed to be. And it's kind of silly, like when everyone should just agree that like they're in their own island and they can make whatever they want. Well, but you know, that's just my 2 cents. What do you think, Gordo?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. That's what I think. I think you're absolutely right.
I think that our identity is transience. You know, I think that because I think it has something to do with this being such a major train hub for so long in the infancy of the formation of like Denver and Auraria, like the queen cities of the plain, like the twin queen cities of the plain or whatever they were. Like, I think that that's just kind of built into us, that there's always been people coming here from other places. A lot. Yeah, the
thing that strikes me about this whole thing is that there's always been this argument about natives versus transplants. This has been going on for like centuries.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know, that tells me that it's a transitory place. I came from a transitory place and moved here from a place like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So
in hindsight, the western half of the U.S. is still so young, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, we're all still trying to figure it out and get along with each other, you know?
Right. I like the joke about how Denver is full of people who just looked at the mountains and said, nah, let's just build a football stadium right here and call it a fucking day. Like, we were the people who only had like a little bit of the pioneer spirit. You know, we were like, I'm not climbing mountains, man. No, thank you.
Dude, can you imagine like walking through Nebraska and you're like, I'm thinking it's pretty flat from here to California. And then you're like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, it's a whole wall. It doesn't stop. No.
What the fuck? Well, hey, man.
It's just all the people that, went up and then came back down. We're like, no,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. No,
We'll
don't go
just
up
come
there.
back.
It's terrible.
Yeah, don't
It's
go up there,
terrible.
guys. Don't go up there. It's fine. just stay down here.
Well, Reed,
Yeah.
I really wanted to check on you, man, and see how things are going out there, because I know you're, and I like hesitate to use this term, but you're at ground zero for the U.S. at least, and it's the spot where a lot of stuff's going on, and I'm glad to hear that what we're hearing in the media is like you're experiencing a lot of the same stuff the rest of the world is experiencing. There's just a lot more of you guys because of the population density, and man, we're thinking of you, and I hope,
glad to know that you're safe over there.
yeah, man.
Thanks.
And I hope you get to come out and see us soon, and I hope this thing wraps up as quickly as it possibly can, and we can actually have you on the show properly here soon.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I've become a big fan since since y'all had me on the first time. I've been like, I never really listened to podcasts. Now I listen to like all of y'all's. I know all the jokes and everything, and the sponsors and all.
Yeah, that's great.
No, I really enjoy it. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool that you're, like you said, like kind of documenting what's going on out there. And, with all my old friends, I love hearing what people have to say. But yeah, thanks for checking in.
Of course.
People in New York are all right. I mean, if everyone kind of needs to take a step back and stop watching so much of the news and the media. Right. Just call your friends and see how they're doing rather than, like bodies aren't piling up in the street in New York. Like, we're okay. You know what I mean? And, everyone's going to get through this as much as we want to. So,
well, that's the thing. Is this the whole planet? Like all 7 billion, 8 billion people on the planet, between 7 and 8 billion people on the planet, like it's all just a series of networks within networks. It's all just people connected to people. And if we just do our due diligence and take care of the people that are within our circle, that are within our sphere of influence, and we're checking up on each other and staying informed at the same time, we're all going to get through this. And it's sounding like it's going to stretch out longer than I think anybody really wants it to. But, human beings have gotten through far worse. And we will get through far worse than this, And,
well, just remember, it's Nebraska's fault. The longer this goes on, it's Nebraska's fault.
I heard Nebraska is like refusing to give a shelter-in-place order. Is that still going on, or have they finally broken on that?
I don't know. I try not to watch the news for the past 48 hours.
Well, you know what I've found has been good is Twitter has set up a feed specifically for COVID news, and that's a good place to check out headlines from a bunch of different sources, to see the numbers from a bunch of different sources, to see kind of what the big talking points are, and then let it go. Like instead of spending all the time like watching. I mean, they've got a lot of time to fill with segments on the actual legacy media outlets, and they're going to fill it with whatever stories are going to keep people hooked in. So,
all I'm going to say is I've got money on Fauci staying in until May 1st, so that fucker better stay in until May 1st. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, Fauci wants to keep it going for way, 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 way longer than the White House does. And so it seems like he's in a bit of a wrestling match with...
So Reed, do you think he'll still be in here on May 1st? What do you think? What do you think about Fauci? What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know what y'all are talking about. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Fauci is he's basically the point guy for this whole outbreak phenomenon.
He's the COVID-19 task force lead.
Exactly. And he's been with this same organization through 4 presidencies now, I guess.
Something like that.
Yeah. But
is he like the head of CDC?
No. He doesn't have anything to do with the CDC. He's more of actually a research doctor. But he's kind of the front man for the response to this thing, and he's the science guy that you see get up to the podium, Trump. And so there's all these bets on whether he'll, will he still be, working with the organization? Will he still be working with the administration? Will he still have a job by May 1st? And I actually have money on it. And I'm thinking he's going to stick in there.
Oh, you actually went on what's it called?
Predictit.org.
Right,
I mean,
it's like the stock market for politics.
It's not like a mint. It's like $5.
So people are seriously betting on whether or not he's still going to have a job on May 1st.
Yeah.
I don't know,
man. If you want to see what peak cynicism looks like, go to predictit.org. It's all there.
It's so sad.
It's all there.
It's really sad. Hey, I got to get Dave on the call, but Reed, thank you so much for getting on and talking with us, man. I really appreciate the hell out of you. And if you get bored and you want to jump on an episode while this thing is going on, we'll make it happen, man. You just let me know.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. Keep up the good work, guys. See
Yeah,
ya.
man. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
We'll talk to you soon, Reed.
Bye.
See you, man.
Later, man. All right, let's get Dave Sanchez on the call and get his audio dialed in. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. If you're just joining us here on the motherfucking podcast, we're doing check-ins with some of your favorite guests that we've had on the show so far. We had our buddy Jay Party Lord on here. Did a live drawing while we were hanging out. I had a feeling he was doing something too.
Yeah, I could tell he was up to something over there. I could hear the squeaking, like, I could hear it.
Yeah. And then, yeah, man, that was really cool. And we just had our buddy Reed Brumner from Overdose and Speed Wolf and Splattered Records and a bunch of other cool stuff. He's a man about town, and he gave us kind of the quick rundown of what the situation's looking like out there in New York.
Can I make an announcement real quick?
Yeah, please do make an announcement.
Make an announcement. Just today, I released the first episode of my podcast.
Oh, you did?
And yeah, and it's got Randall Conrad Olinger, and we do kind of a check-in, kind of like what we're doing today here. We talked about records, though. We talked mostly about records.
That's really cool, man.
But that's
Where can we find it? What's it called?
It's called Gordopotic.
It's called Gordopotic. Okay.
And you can find that on the Gordophonic Records Facebook page if you're interested in that kind of thing. Just a couple of guys chatting for a couple hours about some of their favorite records. No big deal.
Yeah, check out Gordo's podcast. If you love Gordo from the motherfucking podcast, you might like to see him break off and do his own thing without being interrupted by me every 3.5 seconds.
Of the MF podcast fame, I should say.
Hey, I think we've got our next guest on the line. Dave, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's get
hello.
your. I think it might automatically come on, isn't it? Hey, Dave, we're gonna get your audio dialed in here real quick.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, we got to do it one by one here. So,
Sure.
Ed, can you turn your video on as well?
I thought it was on. Here, let me see if this works. Hold on. Sorry about that.
You just got to hit the little camera icon. It should be in like one of the lower corners or something like that. The audio's dialed in though. It should be. Like we should have the signal. Yeah, man. Gordo, you said you've been keeping really busy.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what's been going on since you started getting real busy. Like, what have you been producing in the meantime?
Well, ironically, like I've talked about before, like I started working on like actually finishing a lot of projects that were kind of slow to get done when this thing started, and then as we got into it, I started actually getting work, which was kind of weird because like I usually have to scramble to find work. And thanks to my buddy Josh Finley, I found some work. So I've been researching how to. Hey, what's happening, man?
Howdy.
But just real quick, just been trying to research how best to execute the task of editing video in a very detailed way. So I'm kind of getting into that and figuring out how to do that for this project that we're working on.
Well,
so
very cool, man. That's
great.
And
on top of everything else, and on top of the this podcast and my podcast now, and then the musical stuff, getting into some streaming stuff. So yeah, what's up, Dave?
Hey,
Howdy do.
everybody, please welcome to the show our good friend from the world famous thrash metal sensations, Havoc. Please welcome David Sanchez to the program. How you doing, my man?
What's up?
I'm all right. How you guys doing?
Good, dude. We're hanging
Doing
in,
all right.
you know. We're trying to keep the podcast going. We haven't missed a week since the social distancing stuff has come up, and we're pretty happy about that. So thanks for jumping on and having a convo with us, man.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad that you guys are keeping it going. This would be the ultimate time to make sure that keeps happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So, tell me right out the gate, kind of how you've been affected by everything going on. Especially, I know you had some pretty major tours and festivals get canceled, didn't you?
Yeah, we've had to cancel a couple tours already, and we're supposed to go to Europe in late July till the middle of August, but I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're playing the waiting game just like everybody else right now. The thing that's so, shitty is like the potentials of what may happen. There's so much uncertainty. Nobody knows exactly how this is all going to pan out, but
Right.
it's I'm not holding my breath, but I hope that touring gets back to normal soon. But like I said, there's so much uncertainty. It's impossible to say.
The really hard thing, and I talked to our label rep the other day, and he was saying he was talking fall 2021 before we could even think about getting on anything. And I'm sure it's different for you guys because you have stuff that'll probably just get postponed since it was already booked. But since they book everything pretty much a year in advance, they're at least in Germany because they are such a culturally since they are such a socially tight culture, they're really getting out in front of this and being kind of conservative with their numbers and just pulling in everything real tight. And it just looks like everything's pretty much off the table for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, that's really scary to think about. And one thing that's crossed my mind, I mean, I don't know that this is going to happen, but it's definitely crossed my mind that maybe touring never comes back.
Oh my
It's
God.
It's not unthinkable.
No, it's not unthinkable. The industry could suffer such that the infrastructure totally collapses, and they have to come up with something new.
Gonna close.
Yeah, venues closing.
Close, maybe bands break up. Maybe managers and booking agents and promoters stop doing that because it's not a viable way to make a living anymore. Like,
right.
This is all stuff that's completely possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's not unthinkable at this point.
Right. No, it's definitely not unthinkable. And I mean, depending on how long this goes on, I mean, it's already going to change all industries as we know it. I mean, it's going to change society as we know it. It already has changed society as we know it almost overnight. But, if labels go under or venues go under or bands go under just from inactivity, I don't know. And also if the people are spooked enough that they lose interest in going out to shows,
That's a big reason I think that this may happen. Like, you may get to a point where, you could go on tour, but people will be afraid to go out and be in a venue with 500 sweaty, tight-knit people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but at this point, anything seems possible. And I've read 1984.
Dude, that's kind of why I wanted to get you on the show because I know your mind goes to some out there places and situations like this, and I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on it. And you have not disappointed thus far. So, tell me a little bit of kind of what your predictions are for the next year and a half as far as what happens in the industry.
Well, I don't really have any predictions that I'm dead set on because there's so much to find out what's going to happen. I'm basically at a point where I can see a lot of different possibilities of where things may go. I'm not married to any of the ideas, but
But you're dating around.
Yeah. I'm playing the idea field.
Playing the field.
Playing the minefield of ideas.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, there's so many different ways this could go down. Maybe this is the catalyst for the end of the Federal Reserve and the end of taxes as we know it, and a complete overhaul of our economy that gets us back on the gold standard, and we start making stuff in America again. Everyone gets back to work. Or maybe this is the complete opposite, and this is going to be used as like the catalyst to start the new world order and create a one world government with one monetary system for the whole planet. And
Schmeckles or whatever, like everybody
gets.
Man,
it's hard to say, but like I could see either one of those things happening. I could see the beginning of world peace. I could see World War III happening. I don't know what's going to happen, but one thing is very clear at this point, and that is that our normal way of life and our civil liberties are definitely hanging in the balance of whatever happens next.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a terrifying thing. I also, the two wolves that I'm feeding, my terror and paranoia being one wolf and my optimism being the other wolf. I'm trying to feed the one that I want to see grow to be the biggest and strongest. And the optimistic side of me is hoping that what happens is by watching governments fumble and drop the ball, and by seeing what we can really live without, and by seeing, in real time, these illusions of a functioning society kind of dropping down and taking a peek behind the curtain, maybe as a society, as a global society, as a global community, we'll stop being as willing to take shit from corporate interests and rich people who don't have our best interests at heart.
Well, one would hope.
Yeah, that's definitely the dream, and something that I see as a possibility here. That is a possible outcome. There's millions of people talking about the Great Awakening happening, and whether or not that you get into the specifics of what exactly that means to people, I think we are in the midst of some sort of a Great Awakening. People are seeming to wake up to a lot of bullshit and corruption in the way of our government and our banking institutions and corporations, and just how the whole system is rigged. And that's a good thing. I mean, hopefully people are sitting at home, all these people that say they're bored, maybe they can go online and start doing some research. From what I understand, Google is massively uncensored at the moment.
Right.
Somebody's gone in there and taken down a lot of the censorship. I find that very interesting that the internet has kind of been unlocked, and people can go and do some research for yourself. People watching and listening to this, you can go home and do some research for yourself and learn some things about what's really going on here. There's a lot of things that they don't teach you in school that I find to be very important pieces of history and explanations for how we got to the world that we're living in. There's a lot of, you got to think, with the Department of Education, they're in charge of all the stuff that kids learn. So really everything that you learn in school is government sanctioned information.
Right.
None of it is stuff that the government doesn't want you to know. They don't teach you about Operation Mockingbird or Operation Northwoods or the creation of the Federal Reserve, Operation Paperclip, how the government was found guilty in a trial that the CIA and local government, local police had something to do with Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination.
Right. They tried to suicide him. That's been established that they tried to suicide him.
It's a fact. It's not a conspiracy theory. No. His family won a civil suit against the CIA and the local police there.
And the FBI, I think.
These are things. Yeah, these are things they don't want you to know in school. And right now is a perfect opportunity. If you're bored and you want to have your mind blown, go look into some of this shit. Go look up Operation Paperclip, Operation Mockingbird, Operation Northwoods, the creation of the Federal Reserve. There's a lot of shit that's adding up to the collective consciousness, I think, is becoming expanded about a lot of these things, and hopefully it continues to happen. Because let's be real, the people that are running the show versus regular people, they're outnumbered millions to one.
Oh, absolutely.
So if enough people are in tune to what's really going on and wake up to some of this stuff and get on the same page and stop playing identity politics and hating other people just because they don't see eye to eye with you on abortion and dumb shit like that. Not that it's not an issue to be discussed, but we have a lot more in common with our fellow
But it's not
man
an
than
issue
we
to
have.
kill each other over, and it's not an issue to fucking tear the fabric of our society apart over. Like right now, we're all trying to
We're on the
survive.
same
We're not just wedge demographics. We're individuals.
Right.
We're individuals, but we are on the same team about more things than we're not.
Right.
Absolutely.
Everyone wants
Absolutely.
a lot of the
We've got
same
way more
basic
in common
stuff.
than we don't.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And we're starting to see that a lot because people
Exactly.
globally are having the same. The people in Kenya and the people in Germany and the people in the United States and the people in the UK, like we're all having generally the same experience. But what isn't universal is the way the various governments are handling it. And, I've touched base with a few of my friends who have expressed genuine concern for their American friends. Like my friend in Belgium, Jan, he was like, I'm worried sick about my American friends because we have universal basic income during this and we have socialized health insurance.
It makes
You guys
sense to
don't
be
have that.
worried about us.
Yeah. I talked to my friend in Finland. He said they canceled mortgages for a year in Finland. Like nobody has to pay a mortgage for a year. So and we're all connected on the internet. So we're all talking to each other and we're all checking in during this and we're getting a consensus as to what we're willing to accept and what we are no longer willing to accept. And I think that's going to shake shit up. And sometimes progress is a very slow upward spiral and sometimes it changes in leaps and bounds, It's that law of thermodynamics. Like I feel like we are the system in the physical sense. The system that we are living in, the open system that we are living in, is spinning into chaos and is reaching a bifurcation point. And if all goes well, we'll come out the other side and reorganize at this higher, more functional rate.
I would love to see that happen. It's obviously not looking so good just from reading history and seeing what's happened in this country in the last 150 years. I've been saying this for a long time, and I'm afraid that I'm correct. But I've been saying that for years that the Civil War happened 160 years ago or something like that. And then World War I only happened about 50 years after that ended. And then between World War I and World War II, you've only got 20 years. At this point, it's been about 75 years since World War II ended. I think we're long overdue for some major shit to happen, especially in this country. I think in our lifetime, it's very likely. I'm not saying, that I can promise it, but I think it's likely that we'll see in our lifetime a civil war, another revolution, or World War III, or maybe
on a long enough timeline, it's inevitable.
Yeah, and we're still relatively young. I think it's entirely likely that it'll happen in our lifetime. Look at how much stuff is evolving so quickly right now. Hopefully, things keep evolving and unraveling in a good way. That would be amazing. We would all love to see that. But
hopefully it remains. Hopefully it remains a culture war.
What's that?
Hopefully it's more of a culture war and not a war of guns and tanks and missiles and things like that.
Well, hopefully this whole thing just makes the willingness to open your eyes and actually look at things from a different point of view. Maybe that flexibility will occur. I don't know. There's still a lot of people out there that are very inflexible.
Well, but what you were saying about the 75-year thing, what was it? Eric Weinstein was calling it the Great Nap. He was saying we basically we're waking up from a great nap where things haven't happened for 3 generations.
Yes.
You know, we haven't had to deal with something on this level in like 3 generations, and now it's about to turn the tide in some very like, we are standing before the abyss right now, and it is dizzying for sure.
Yeah, humanity's on a teetering point right now where we could either make stuff go really good and get very positive, or it could go really south and get really bad. We're right on the cusp where we can either soar and do amazing stuff, or it can all collapse and we devolve into the Stone Age. We're at a very critical time where it is possible for us to make it better. We have the wits and the technology and the know-how and the numbers. It's just a matter of education. There is no there's no good side to a tyrannical entity when people are educated. The key to freedom is education. The key to keeping people down and as slaves is ignorance. Right. So the more people keep waking up and learning things and talk about shit that actually matters, and not the Kardashians and what's going on with basketball, but talking about real shit that's really affecting us in a big way, and might be the taking back of our society into the hands of regular people, or it might be our collapse. Let's start talking about that kind of shit and opening eyes and opening minds, because that can make a huge difference. And we're on a slippery slope right now where it could go one of 2 ways, and it's all a question of which way do you want it to go. Do you want to fucking bend over and kiss government feet, or do you want the government to work for you the way it's supposed to?
Right. Well, you said something about education earlier too, and this reminded me of another point that's pretty interesting. Is it's upsetting the education system in that people have been having to homeschool their children, and what we're finding out is that the actual learning of information part takes about 90 minutes. Like, it's about 90 minutes of learning a day that these kids are doing with their homework on their, their Chromebooks and whatnot. Like, they're doing their lesson plans, and the actual homework and study part of it is only taking 90 minutes, which means that 7 to 8 hours in a school day is mostly just babysitting and warehousing children and, obviously the social aspect, but it could change the way that we optimize our education system going forward, and our kids and our grandkids could end up being so well educated and so well read, and education could end up becoming this pervasive thing that just is like beyond our reach. You know what I mean? Like, our children and grandchildren could end up being so well educated that we can scarcely communicate.
My wife's an educator, and seeing how they've adapted to this thing just like instantly is pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing how they're dealing with all this stuff and they're communicating with their students and all that stuff, it's pretty fucking amazing. Like, they were able to just kind of turn on a dime and just switch their whole paradigm over to, internet-based learning, basically.
Yeah.
And
I know you're pretty well. Go ahead.
A lot of structures are being revealed.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's not just with schooling, but, business-wise, too. You got people that normally, fly from L.A. over to New York City to have a face-to-face meeting with someone or a few people, and now all of a sudden they're using Zoom or Skype or FaceTime or whatever, and getting the meeting done without being in the physical room, without putting out the emissions, without spending the money, without, getting on an airplane, taking an Uber, going through security, doing all this stuff. They can get their stuff done. And it's because we have technology. Technology can be a good thing for us. It could be a very bad thing for us. It all depends on how you utilize it. The social aspect that you're talking about of school and kids getting to congregate and hang out with one another, I think is very important. But as far as what they learn and how quickly it happens, like you said, we're finding out that it can be done in a fraction of the time, and
and more optimally, and kids can take, like, if you fall behind in a traditional education system, you're fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I fell behind. I fell behind in math. You know what I mean? If you fall behind in math, like you can remediate math, but in the public school system, they don't have time to remediate it and catch you up. You know?
Right. 25 other kids in your class.
Right. So you fall behind, you're fucked. If what they're seeing now is it's like because they can do it in less time, they're going to be able to teach kids at a pace that works for the specific individual kid, and we're not going to see as many quote-unquote high-risk kids or learning disabled kids because we're going to be focusing on how they learn, not how terrible they are at learning.
It's created more individualized attention.
Absolutely, because we're individuals. You know, we are a species of animals, but there is necessarily variety within our species in order to improve our chances of being able to thrive and proliferate. You know, we're individuals.
A good next step would be to eliminate the Department of Education. We didn't have a Department of Education until the 1950s, and we were doing just fine. And then when, I'm not a huge Donald Trump supporter. I like some things he does. I don't like some things he does. But one thing that he's mentioned is he wants to dissolve the Department of Education and merge it with the Department of Labor. That used to be the case from the 1950s up until the 1970s. It was this, merged with Health and Human Services. And that's no longer the case. And when he talks about wanting to get rid of the Department of Education, everyone freaks the fuck out. Like, oh my God, he wants everyone to be stupid. That's not necessarily true. I'm completely on board with that because what it means is the kids are no longer only getting a little box to put their brain in. That's all government sanctioned information. If you get rid of that, you start. I think the big reason that doesn't exist is because then all of a sudden you get these kids that are learning things they want to learn about, things that spark their imagination, and all of a sudden you wind up with 10 million Elon Musks in this country. That would not be very good for the plan.
Right. Well, and then there's
a lot of regulation that goes into what is taught in schools for sure. That stuff is just very detailed.
Right.
You know.
Well,
and I think you have a really good point about, eliminating a lot of the oversight on that stuff. Like, well,
and if we can,
I learned that teachers didn't actually, they didn't actually choose what to teach, like that blew my mind. I don't know when I learned that, was a long time ago, but like just figuring that out, I was like, whoa, what do you mean this stuff is mandated? Like that's crazy. That just completely opened up my mind to like, okay, well, what have I been learning, and how have I been learning it?
Right.
It's all been chosen by a group of people and not like by the people that are in my community or whatever. I mean, it's a good point, man. It's a good fucking point.
Well, hey, and with that, I think we got to jump over and get Bart and Jen McCrory on the phone. But Dave, I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on and talk with us. If you're into it, I'd love to have you on again, and we'll do a longer episode, maybe with even just you just talking with us and hash some of this out, because I know you give this stuff a lot of thought, and I would love to hear more of your thoughts. There's plenty more that I'd like to say about it. So if you're into it in the coming weeks, I'd love to have you back on, man. Yeah,
of course. Let's do it.
Cool, man. Well, I wish you the best. I hope you're staying creative. I hope you're staying healthy. I hope that you are living with the balance of terror and optimism that all of us are, and getting by. I love you lots, man, and I really appreciate you jumping on and talking with us.
Eat your vegetables.
You Thanks a lot for spending the time and having me on. Let's do it again for sure.
I would love that. I'd love that, man.
Thanks, man.
Let's dial in Bart and get his audio. Get him and Jen's audio dialed in. Let's see.
Sounds good. Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Say hi to Bart.
Later, dude.
Will do.
Thanks.
Bud.
Peace.
John McCrory. Let's add him. For those of you just joining us, this is episode 102 of the motherfucking podcast. We are checking in with...
I gotta take a wicked piss. I'll be right back.
Take the most wicked piss you've ever taken.
So
we're checking in with McCracken. That's gonna be him. Yep. We're checking in with, hey buddy, how you doing? We're getting your audio and video all dialed in.
Right.
and catching people up. But yeah, we're checking in with some of your favorite guests from previous episodes of the show and see how they're handling the pandemic. Bart, can you change your view to landscape view real quick?
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're just checking in, we so far have talked to, let's see, who all have we talked to? We just got off the phone with Dave Sanchez from Havoc. We talked to Reed Brumner from Overdose and Speedwolf. We, of course, talked to our good buddy Jay, motherfucking Party Lord, who drew a picture live on the podcast while we were talking. And yeah, of course he did. It was really great. Our next guest to the podcast for our All-Star check-in is two folks I've been wanting to have back on the show for a long time anyway, so this is a perfect opportunity to check in, and I have a bunch of stuff I want to talk to them about because they have been doing a great job of keeping people connected during all of this. Please welcome my favorite power couple in town, Bart and Jen McCrory.
Just throwing guitars around.
Please welcome Bart and Jen McCrory to the show. Guys, how's it going? It's good to see your faces, man.
I made it.
Oh, hey.
How are you guys enjoying the quarantine?
How you guys doing?
We're good, man. Yeah, we're enjoying it as much as somebody can enjoy a quarantine, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess one of the first thing I want to ask you guys, well, first thing I want to do is I want to commend you guys on everything you've been doing to keep people connected and engaged. Jen, obviously you're doing a ton with the Colorado musicians page. The Colorado Original Musicians page, trying to subdue any of the flare-ups of insane conspiratorial arguing and politics and everything else that is going on. And then
There's
Bart,
a lot of post removals.
yeah, I'm sure. And then Bart, you started Riffbook, which is like an overnight sensation and one of our favorite things, dude. We've talked about it.
Man.
Dude, we've talked about it like 3 times on the show, man. It's like our favorite show.
Nice.
Dude, I think
I've
favorite.
been slacking the last couple of days.
It's okay, dude. It's awesome. It's a great thing. It's taken on a life of its own anyway.
Yeah,
like,
it's self-sustaining.
I'm glad that you throw the themes out, but like even if you didn't throw the themes out, people would stay engaged, man. And it's like,
yeah, they have been.
I think
good.
my favorite
and it's gone
thing.
worldwide, Aaron. There's people from all over the world on that page.
Really?
Yeah.
New Zealand.
France.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's several. Yeah,
That's such
really
a great
cool.
thing. I think my favorite thing about it is how encouraging everyone is.
Yeah, that's been really good.
You think it's going to be this like, chest beating like strutting peacock festival.
Yeah.
But it's all just people like it's the encouragement to participate is just all over the place. It's just like built into the value structure of the page. And I know it's just a Facebook group, but it is like so much fun.
That's one of the rules. It says be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the musicians always follow rules.
Yeah, right. But I love the 1 minute rule. Because I don't want to hear anybody play anything longer than a minute in that format anyway.
The 1 minute rule is the best part.
Yeah, the minute rule it rules. It's fucking fantastic.
So for people who don't know what Riffbook is, tell them a little bit about what it is.
Okay, basically it's a group that I started, and you get 1 minute to riff. You can play a kazoo, you can play piano, you can play guitar, bass, any instrument. I've had people on there singing. I've had people on there rapping, whatever, But you get 1 minute or about a minute. If it goes too far over, I'll delete the post. But
I love that
pretty
rule.
simple.
I love that rule.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've even had people just like banging on barbecue grills, and you had a tambourine off at one
Hot
point.
for Teacher, that was awesome.
Yeah. The tambourine confrontation was pretty fun. We need more of that spirited competition with goofy instruments. I think next we should have a kazoo off, honestly. See who can rule that instrument.
Right. I think it's a great idea. And and I I'm not much of a guitar player, so I wouldn't normally feel comfortable participating in something like that. you know,
You
but
have
it's like,
been.
right. And it's like, but in this, the way you have it set up and just the way the whole mood and the vibe and the culture around it is it's just like, hey man, it doesn't matter what level you're at, jump in, try something out, and
Yeah.
you know,
Let's see
watch
what you
other
got.
people's videos and let's see what they got. And I've learned a lot, and it is given me, and it's given my bandmates a fun activity that
Yeah.
stretches their brain, stretches their chops, you know.
It's
keeps-
fun. It's positive. It's supportive. It's everything you want in
It's
a
everything we
crisis
need right
like
now
this.
in this climate.
Yeah.
You know what we need more chicks on there though.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Absolutely.
There's like 4.
I've seen a few, and the ones that are on there participating are quite good, and they're having fun with it. But we could definitely use some more ladies, and because there's a lot of talented ones out there that can show us what's up.
Well, and it might be a similar situation where they don't feel terribly comfortable with it.
Yeah,
You know
we
what I
need-
mean?
We need to fix that.
Yeah. Where's Rocky? Where's Rocky at?
Dude, exactly. Where is Rocky?
I don't know. I've seen a few.
I guess I should put out some lousy riffs.
Yeah,
on
Jen,
there.
you should do it. We did a song together. We did a little Agent Orange 1 minute
Yeah.
spot. We should
Yeah,
do
I
more
missed
of
the
that.
punk rock day. I'm gonna have to come in with a late entry for the punk rock day.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, I missed Blues Day, so here's blues." You know,
It's not like it ends at the end of the day. It's like
exactly.
jump in,
There
throw
are
it
no
in.
rules. I just throw ideas out there and see what people come up with. It's been cool. One of my favorite ones was the TV themes.
Yeah, the TV
Catch
themes
that
is
one?
great.
Yeah, that was
That-
great.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Lee did his mash with
Yeah.
the looper pedal, and it was
Yeah, that was killer.
so good, man.
One of the other ones I want to do, and this is Kevin Disney's idea. He hit me up at like 2:45 in the morning. He goes, "I haven't participated in your riff book yet, but I have a great idea. Songs that you hate."
That's a great idea.
That's awesome.
Do
I
a
know,
song that
I-
you hate.
so
Just
have
grit
everybody
your
learn a
teeth.
song they hate.
Grit your teeth and play a song that you hate. I love
Exactly.
that.
Learn a
Man.
song you hate.
I love that.
So that's coming up.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so I also wanted to ask you guys a bit about. You guys are both self-employed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you getting by? Like how is life? Are
I'll
you
let
going
Jen
crazy? Well, yeah, right. But I mean,
Cheers.
like how are you guys getting through this? What are some of your concerns? What are some of the day-to-day things that are going on? Talk to me about it.
Oh, I mean, that's a pretty big question, Aaron.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
a self-employed hairstylist, so we're technically supposed to go back May 1st. I don't know that that's going to happen. So I'm just, I will not confirm or deny if I'm doing hair out of my house sometimes.
It's a mystery. Nobody knows.
Nobody
if
knows.
the Department of Regulatory Agency is listening, I'm not.
Right.
But
They actually watch every episode of the podcast. Just so you
I'm
know.
worried about that.
It's their
I'm worried about
favorite
that.
show.
No, we're doing okay. We had taken a pretty big vacation right prior to this, and so the benefit for us was that our bills were actually paid ahead because we were taking that big vacation. So we were actually okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But come May 1st, I'll be working at the grocery store or Amazon or something if things don't change. So
Gotta do what you gotta do.
no, delivering pizzas
Yeah.
Right.
So
Hey,
as
well,
far
with a smile.
That's probably the safest thing to do is food delivery. Honestly, I've been hearing stories about the walkouts at some of the places that are they're pissed about unsafe work conditions. Grocery store workers and Amazon workers and things like that. I also heard something about Jeff Bezos was like essentially doing a GoFundMe for his staff, and it's like, dude, you were like one of the richest people on the planet Earth.
That's the
man.
most fucked up thing you could do as a
Yeah.
multi-billionaire.
Right. I mean, it's not literally
Insulting.
GoFundMe, but he did like a fundraiser for it, and it's just
Boo.
like, boo. Yeah. I don't know,
Yeah, no-
man.
It's been rough, but we're getting by. We're doing fine. And really, like, we're trying to be as careful as we can about having people in and out of the house, obviously with the studio and things like that. But, we're doing what we have to do to get by. We're doing awesome. Yeah, it hasn't been that bad.
Yeah. So
So
part of it is great clients. have been prepaying for sessions for me, for example.
That's really
So
cool.
I can't,
And
that's
services
super
as
cool.
well.
I can't thank them enough for that. You know, that's been amazing. And I haven't asked. They've reached out to me. Hey, Bart, how are you doing, man? What's going on? I know we're going to be coming in September. Do you want me to throw you some cash as a deposit, you know? So that's been really cool. And fortunately, I've had some video editing work and some other mixing and things like that. Boomer's playing us a riff right now.
1 minute, Boomer. 1 minute only.
Keep it to a
buddy.
minute.
That's awesome. Right on time.
You know, and that's I've been paying attention to. You know, you're really honing your video craft as well.
Trying.
Yeah. Have you been feeling compelled to produce more content to draw attention to the studio?
You know what? It's more about drawing attention to local bands that I like.
Right.
You know, for more than anything. I mean, I've been doing this long enough. Like all the bands that I'm recording or doing for live at the Crash Pad, I've been working with most of those people for a long time.
Right.
I've had a little bit of new blood in, and I will continue to get some new blood in. But it's more comfortable for me to do it with people I know, for starters. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I had James Terry working with me for a while. He recently had to get a full-time job, so he had to back out. So now I'm doing all the editing and doing everything, really. So if you know anybody who wants to help me out.
Hey, Gordo.
But it's been
Gordo,
cool,
I'm
like
looking
the
in your
whole-
direction.
Yeah, right. The whole last Messiah 4 episode that we did was all us.
Yeah, we filmed it ourselves.
We did everything ourselves with the help of Anthony, though. Anthony came in and shot
And
some
that
of
came out great.
I thought so, too.
Yes.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, man.
So MF Ruckus, you guys still supposed to come in, and what was the date? May?
Well, we were
I don't
supposed to
know
come
what's
in May
gonna
11th, and Rose Tattoo postponed the tour.
Yeah.
Supposedly, that's gonna be getting rescheduled to January,
Okay.
and you know, Tony's not gonna travel, so
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
makes sense.
yeah. So I mean, we're gonna have to postpone that, and it's just like, I mean,
Well-
I do like that it's been getting people to. I'm kind of used to dealing with hurdles in any sort of creative endeavor.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
But man, there are a fuckload of hurdles getting thrown up right now, man, and
Oh,
everyone.
yeah.
you know, just
So
everything
maybe
that we're
we
having
need
to camp.
Maybe we need to have Granny Tweed take your guys' spot.
Oh, there you go.
We can do it. If we're still symptom free, we'll do it.
Yeah,
No.
symptom-free, and we can even postpone it a little bit further into May.
All right.
But, you know, I haven't forgotten about you guys. Like
Yeah.
to get
Right
you guys
on.
too.
Yeah, I want to get
Super
on
cool.
for sure. I mean, I don't even know when we're gonna get to play again.
Yeah, who knows?
You know,
I mean, we renegade rehearse with Messiah Vor if everybody's feeling good.
right.
Excuse me.
I really like, you know, you mentioned the people who have been, you know, Jen paying ahead for
Yeah.
appointments and Bart paying ahead for studio time. I think it's really cool that in the absence of, you know, I know the wheels of the federal government turn very slowly. I know the wheels of the state governments and municipal governments turn very slowly, and I'm not just going to make a blanket statement that nobody cares and nobody's looking out for us, but it does for the time being that it seems like the people who are doing the most looking out for
Friends
people
and family.
are
Yeah.
are us. We're looking out for
Yeah.
each other. And I think that's really cool that communities are coming together and just Gordo, you made the joke about like the Denver music scene is just passing around the same $50. You know what I mean?
It's true, man.
It's
I'm
kinda
still
like-
passing it around.
You hold on to the 50 for a little while, okay?
Let's hope none of those people have COVID, man.
Yeah, right. It's just getting passed around on that $50 bill, and it's coming back kind of like rolled up and dirty and germy, but you know we're getting it around, and it's been a beautiful thing to see people taking care of each other in their respective
Yeah.
communities. Man, it's been really great.
I think it's important, and I think that those of us who like I'm having clients prepay, so then I'm able to prepay like my trainer, for instance, or go to a friend's restaurant or something
Right.
like that. And you know, it is pay it forward. It's really important to do so.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we've been seeing at the restaurant where I work, we've been seeing guests. First of all, Yelp reviews have come to an end.
Right.
Really?
Nobody is Yelping shit. Every once in a while we get one when we like really screw up, and I reach out to them and I make it right, and I send them a gift certificate, and they're always totally cool after that. But no Yelp, no Google reviews, like almost zero negative feedback, virtually zero negative feedback coming in. It just like screeched to a halt. And people are expressing their appreciation. They're tipping, 25% on average, and we're working our asses off out there to keep people fed, and it's like people have really checked out of the entitled customer mind space and have really moved into this like, hey, the function of society is up to us at this point.
I hope it sticks.
Me too. I mean, it'll probably
absolutely.
recede to a degree. It's a temporary state in a lot of ways that I hope will elevate us to a higher stage in our cultural and social evolution. I really am hopeful for that. I think it'll, it will recede back a little bit, but I think we'll see changes that will be long-standing. I really hope so.
Well, I think people are going to learn they can do with less.
Absolutely.
I've said the same thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
I absolutely
yeah.
agree. And people are really getting their priorities in order, and going, and musically, just from a musician's perspective, I have really been thinking a lot about quality over quantity.
Yeah, Jen's been doing these bass lessons with these DVDs we bought, and I've been learning all kinds of new riffs.
Yeah, it's been great.
For Riff Book, because I was like, I used to know that Priest tune. Let me learn that again.
Right.
I relearned the Rain song the other day.
We're all up in our game. Hopefully, when we can all play live again, like Denver music has exploded with talent again.
Well, dude,
everybody's better now.
Absolutely.
I've been afraid to get up on a stage and play solo acoustic. Like I've been afraid of that because I had a very terrifying experience of getting out there and trying to do it when Gordo and I did Gentleman Deluxe with Andy Burkaw and Joshua Finley, But since like now I can do it from the comfort of my own home and just put it out there and get the sound dialed in the way I want it, and I can, I got nothing to lose.
That's kind of how I've been feeling about it, man, because I don't typically sing with an acoustic guitar, and I've done it twice now.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 times. So that was a stretch for me. So it's good. Break those barriers,
Just got to put yourself out there.
Exactly. And it's like you can kind of dip your toe in the water and go, the only thing I'm going to see, it's different than the way the internet normally works where like social and political issues are concerned, is it's like in those issues, all you see is the negative shit that people put out. But it's like in these little community things and these little art-driven things, all you're seeing is encouragement.
Yeah. Positivity is going to save us all, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, we got to champion each other out there for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And it's been great. And I just appreciate the shit out of you guys for being champions of that cause.
Hey,
same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same.
This is awesome that you are doing this right now.
Yeah, man. It's
we're so excited to see other people.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody we've had on the show today, tonight is like, "Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going? Oh man, so good to see you." And then when it comes time to like switch segments, they're like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, we should do this again, though." It's been great, man.
Right. So I take it all the boys in the bands that you guys play in are doing well and healthy.
Yeah, everybody's good, man. Like, Ty completely switched roles with his wife and is like stay-at-home dad.
He's the she now and she's the he?
Yeah. He's the
Oh, cool.
he's the stay-at-home dad.
No, what do you mean? Switched roles. Sorry.
Like
Mr. Mom.
he has become Mr. Mom because
Oh,
Jessie is still working because what she does, she works in she does titles for a living, so she's still able to work, and Ty has to hang with the kids. He delivers office furniture for a living. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So yeah.
So he's on leave. He's going to have to use some of his paid time off if he stays on leave too long. But Logan's a bartender, so he's fully out of work.
Yeah.
But Tony's considered essential because he's an electrician. So
Right.
he has not seen any change in his day-to-day except he has to come home and scrub down and decontaminate and,
Right. I heard people in the construction business were being let into buildings one at a time, or just a crew at a time. So just the electrician crew would be there.
Oh, really?
Just framers. I don't know if that's what's going on in Chicago, but that's something they were talking about on NPR the other day.
There's a paranoid side of me that keeps seeing all the people that are out doing construction and building stuff around town, and I'm like, this is all just a conspiracy to get us off the streets so they can do construction
Right.
much more quickly,
Maybe
But
they could repair the roads. That would be cool.
the other side of that is like, man, maybe you can fix the fucking roads while we're all.
That's what I'm talking about. Fix the goddamn
while we're all
roads.
off of them.
Go ahead and do that.
Pothole outside in front of our house now for at least 2 years.
Yeah, man. No, hey, but in some places the roads have never looked better. Like they've been getting out and they're like, well, nobody's out here. Let's fucking reseal let's repave the road. Like I've been seeing them get tons of work done because they don't have cars to worry about.
I haven't actually been away more than 3 blocks from my house. In
We haven't
weeks.
been out really. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I've been fortunate that I have seen very little change in my day-to-day routine simply because food service is considered essential right now. I never thought I would hear that.
Yeah.
That
It's awesome.
that the service industry, that food service was considered essential. I mean, in some ways we're doing more business than we've ever done because
That's cool.
so many places have had to close down and people are literally dependent on us in some cases to feed them,
Yeah.
So many of my friends are still working.
Yeah, me
Really,
too.
I mean, I think that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So there. I mean, there's that going on. So I do get out quite a bit and work, and they need lots. They need us there a lot. At the same time, they have to manage labor because it's so touch and go from day to day, and overnight our business model completely changed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys adapted, and that's a good thing, man.
I mean, that's what human beings do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it stays like this, I'll just be sending messages out to people. Hey, I'm mixing, I'm mastering. Send me what you got. So
I read something that said basically with every change, you got to become a different version of yourself. And I think that that's true with businesses as well.
Right.
You just have to become a new version if you're going to adapt and grow. So I'm looking at all of this like this, which version of me is this going to be? Pandemic Jen or something. Taking some bass lessons in the garage.
Sounds like a superhero or a super villain.
Pandemic Jen, or like a wrestler.
Spraying
It's like-
people with COVID-19.
I tried to
And
make
in
some bread
this
today.
corner.
Didn't go so well.
Pandemic Jen. Well, guys, it's been really good to catch up with you. I'd love to have you. I've been wanting to have you guys back on the show for a while anyway. So
Anytime.
let's talk about that. And Bart, let's talk about Live at the Crash Pad. I really appreciate again everything that you guys are doing, and I appreciate that you guys have stayed so active and you're just pumping people up out there, man. It's really
thanks for everything you're doing. It's awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Super awesome.
Thank you guys.
We appreciate it.
Stay positive and don't
Stay negative. Stay negative.
Stay test negative.
Yeah.
Stay positive.
I tried to post that on Twitter thinking it would take off, and it didn't. Nobody even saw it. I was like, yeah, that's
You were
funny.
totally
Stay
misunderstood,
negative.
man.
People
You're
probably
doing it wrong.
Cool.
People misread it, and they're just probably just like, what a
What a
nasty
dick.
thing to say.
Yeah, that guy's a dick.
Well, hey, guys, it's been really great catching up, and I hope to talk to you
as
guys
well.
soon. Please reach out if you need anything, and if you guys have anything you need to get off your chest, there's always this platform here for you. So Hit us up,
Excellent.
man.
Thank you.
I'll hit you up about a reschedule, Aaron, and I'll
Cool.
talk to you too, Gordo.
All right.
Sounds
let's do it
good,
soon.
man.
All right, guys.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Adios.
Adios. All right.
Later.
Gordo, let's do you think we can
Yeah.
let's get Karen on. I was gonna say we should do the sponsors
Oh, is
real
Karen?
quick.
Karen on?
Yeah, let's do the sponsors real quick before we get Karen on. First and foremost, our most venereal, nay, venerable sponsor, Matula Plumbing. Matula! Shit rolls downhill. Don't be at the bottom. Your number 2 is our number 1 priority. Your shit is our bread and butter. Angie's List Super Service Award winner back in 2011 won one is the only one that matters. Yeah. Hit him up. He'll wear the booties for you. Flipside Music on South Tacoma Street. Man, I got to talk to Ike and see what they're doing to stay in business. I'm assuming they're doing mostly online sales. Be sure
I
to.
saw a post from him saying that he wasn't a fan of his home computer situation. That's really all I know. I know that's an essential update. I just wanted to let people know.
Right.
Ike's home computer is not the best. I'm assuming everything else is going okay.
Yeah, I mean, he has been doing the what the FAQ episodes.
Yes.
So, yeah. Flipside Music, largest selection of effects pedals. Hey, and man, you need those effects pedals right now, especially your looper and anything to really step up your production game on Riffbook. So buy some pedals and step up your riff game. Rocket Space Rehearsal Studios. Actually, Kate dropped something in the comments. What did Kate say in the comments? I didn't
say.
She said, because there's something from Kate on here. Where are you, Kate? Hi, fellas. Thanks for talking about feelings. Heh. I feel much better than the sad sack, frustrated mess I was when I spoke to Aaron on Friday. Hustle on. Kate, I fucking love you, girl. I love that girl. So yeah, Kate was one of my original picks for this episode because, believe it or not, Kate's episode, Kate from Rocket Space, was one of the most popular episodes that we ever did. Kate, like many business owners out there right now, is definitely going through some hard times with the uncertainty of what is going to happen in the world for them. But she is dead set on hustling and opening her doors back up and providing a clean, affordable, well-maintained hourly rehearsal space for the musicians of Denver and beyond, because touring musicians go there too and they come through town. Do anything you can to support Rocket Space. Like, share, follow them, and send some money over and book some time. Mainly what she said, the way that people can help out is once they open the doors, get in there and jam. So, yeah, man, we love you, Kate. Thank you so much for dropping us a little note there. We appreciate it, and we'll get you on here soon. Evergroove Studio, I want to send a shout-out to my man Brad Smalling at Evergroove Studio, who is doing his best to keep their studio doing what they do in their 70% solar-powered facility up in the Black Mountain region of Evergreen, Colorado. We love you a lot, Brad. Hope you're doing well up there.
Yeah.
And,
heart and thoughts go out to you. Thinking of you.
Yeah, thinking of you big time, and we'll just leave it at that. But you're our fucking dude, man, and we're really excited to hear what goes on with all the music that we're going to make together for the foreseeable future, man. And thank you for everything that you've been doing to keep people afloat and engaged and happy and positive and making music and creating. They are still, from what I understand, offering pay what you can mastering, free mix consultations, and a bunch of other cool stuff. Of course, we are at the Burn TV Studios here at an undisclosed location in the Rhino District of Denver, Colorado. Man, Mikey from the Nug Nation and Burn TV Studios has just been grinding his ass off. I had to do a voiceover before we got on the podcast when I got in here. First thing I did when Ethan walked in the door is asked him to help me set up and do a voiceover recording for Mike. So, man, really, really cool stuff going on. And then finally, want to give a shout out to our loyal patrons. I fucking love you guys. You saw the drawing that Jay did. Jay is also one of our patrons. We're going to give that away to one of you guys. We'll put it on the Patreon page here soon, so stay tuned for that. And we have been giving away stuff nonstop. I've been loading tons of demos and little recordings and stems and things like that onto SoundCloud, and our patrons have been getting first access to that. We couldn't do what we do without you guys. Please go to patreon.com/mfruckus to learn more. All right, I am going to call our final guest of the episode. Let's get Miss Karen Kuda on here. Karen Exley. Add. All right, we're calling Karen now, and then we'll get her audio.
Connections executed.
Hey, shout out to Ethan Klein, our tech guru, who is really helping us step up our
Hey,
our
look, it's
production.
a bunny rabbit.
Yeah. Hey, what? We got. Hold on. Karen, we're going to get the source dialed in on the feed real quick. It'll just take 1 second. We're going to get your audio and video dialed in, okay? Hold on just 1 sec.
Beans.
Yay!
Is this live or are you editing and then releasing this?
We are definitely live. We're live.
Oh, we
streaming
are?
right now.
I was just wondering if I should promote this.
No, we're live right now. But you can get on your phone while we're talking and share it. It's on... It's on youtube.com/mfruckustv is the YouTube link. We're also on facebook.com/mfruckustband right now, streaming on there. Please welcome to the program another one of your favorite guests, one of our favorite guests, Miss Karen Exley, a.k.a. Karen Kuda from Egoista, formerly Nashville Pussy.
Formerly Egoista.
What happened?
Egoista lasted like 5 minutes.
Oh, man.
But you have a shirt, so
I
it's
do
a
have a
collector's
shirt.
item. Because now somewhere there's just a giant bin of them sitting there collecting dust.
Dude, ain't it always the way?
We only lasted for about 5 minutes, but such is life. Sometimes.
Well, what
Every
the fuck?
band has a shelf life. It's too bad that yours is that short though.
Well, maybe some people shouldn't be such assholes. That's all I gotta say.
Some stars,
Yeah.
some stars just burn too bright.
Oh, you're so sweet. What's this URL again?
If you go
On Facebook.
just look up MF Ruckus on Facebook, and
if I put a link.
well, you can just go directly to our Facebook page, and you can share the stream as it's going on right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've done that a time or two.
Shared the stream.
Phone.
Okay,
How do I do this?
how long have you been wearing that bunny costume? That's what I want to know.
Since yesterday. It's my Easter afterglow.
Are you totally losing your mind,
Fantastic.
or are you like?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's snowing and it's really comfy, and my cat likes to knead it, so I get like a little paw massage, and when in Rome, when you don't have anywhere to go and nothing to do, and it's snowy and warm, then this is warm. Why the fuck not?
It looks super comfy.
It is.
It looks like a cat's wet dream, honestly. I mean, that's just like kneading the hell out of that thing, I didn't say that. What are we doing?
Just making biscuits all day.
So I have to like your page first. Sorry, I didn't already like your page. I can't keep up.
This pandemic is bringing out all the real stuff, all of it.
It's really helping us learn who our true supporters are. I'll say that much.
Okay, so here I am. But how do I share it?
So you just go to the post, like the stream that's going on right now. This is going to be the whole discussion, right? By the way,
I know,
teaching
sorry.
Karen how to
Thank you
use
for watching our tutorial.
Today,
Oh my God.
we're going to be
Did you
talking
guys
with
see
Karen
the,
Kuda and teaching her how to share a post on Facebook. Join us
Well,
next
but
week.
it's on my phone. I'm on my phone, so it's like I don't see how to do it. Here we go.
I'm loving this. This is
my so did you guys see the SNL live from home thing on Saturday?
I heard about it, but I didn't see it. Was it
So
good?
yeah, they did the whole show, like everybody in their own house, and they all had to kind of come up with their own skits, and you could tell some of them were really grasping for straws to make shit funny without props and all that kind of thing. But it was really cleverly done. Anyhow, there's one skit that's isn't really as funny if you didn't see it, but where it's like a company meeting, and there's like the old secretaries, and they're trying to show them how to use Zoom, and they're like, wait, how do I do this? You know, and so I today had a tutorial with my parents on Zoom, and it was totally the same thing. It was really hilarious.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing all sorts of stories about people. Like I did a Zoom meeting with my family. We did a family happy hour, and it was all my aunts and uncles and my mom and dad just getting bombed on Zoom together, trying to figure out how the technology works. Like that was pretty much the whole thing. Like,
is that in addition
get
to Marco
closer
Polo?
to the camera. I can't see you. What did you say, Mom? I can't hear you.
It's funny that you say technology. Did I tell you this before? When we were doing pre-production with Nashville Pussy, and it was what song is it? We got the pussy, you got the time, we got the pussy. So we're in the practice space, and Blaine's just kind of yammering some lyrics, and I swore because I couldn't understand it because it was loud. You know how that is sometimes, and
right.
when you're and I swore he was going technology, and I was like, that is so dumb, Blaine. You can't sing a song about technology. He's like, no, I'm singing about pussy. Like, oh, okay.
Technology.
What direction is Blaine trying to head with his new album? He's like singing about technology. It's like Nashville Pussy's most ambitious departure.
He was ahead of his time.
I also, on that note, I was at Globe Hall working one night, and this band was playing, and we had them playing before the show over the radio feed, and it was like their channel, their station or whatever. And I wasn't familiar with them at all. And this lyric comes up, and it's like, checking my Facebook, and these two are sitting at the bar, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, really? Like when checking my Facebook ends up in song lyrics? I was like, that's fucking stupid. And like, I'm laughing, and they go, uh-huh. And Devin, my coworker, comes up to me, and she goes, that's the band, and that was their song that's playing. I was like, well, I guess they deserve to get made
fun of
for putting that dumb
Kudos to
shit in
you
there.
for being honest.
Well, seriously, though,
it is pretty lame.
Seriously, yeah, that is lame.
I've thought about that before. Like you think about The Letter by the Box Tops and made famous by Joe Cocker, like my baby just wrote me a letter. It's like my baby just slipped into my DMs and sent me a message with a bunch of emojis in it.
With Twitter.
Yeah. It's like
hashtag, I think you're so cute,
Yeah. I mean, even though it's part of the technology, and I get it, and it's part of the world we live in, musically it is very uncool.
Right. And you can, come up with something a little less literal, maybe, Had to check my social media or something,
Or even
probably
just
has more to rhyme with anyway.
Sent me a message. Sent me a message could be anything.
Right. And then it's timeless. Then you don't play
it's
it.
Timeless.
Like if people are singing about 8-tracks now, as young kids are going to be, what the fuck is an 8-track? Answering machine. Right. Oh, well, I guess maybe the replacement's answering machine. Kids might not know what the fuck that is.
Right.
They'll be like, answering machine?
What the fuck is that?
You mean voicemail?
Hey, voicemail might even become a thing of the past. Who knows? So
we might become a thing of the past.
yeah, right.
America is definitely becoming a thing of the past.
So how has it been for you? Like, are you staying active? Are you staying busy? Are you keeping your brain engaged? Or are you just like climbing the walls right now?
I'm not climbing the walls, not at all.
Because you're very social. You're very social, and you work in the service industry, and you work in the touring business. Like, you are a professional musician. So what's it been like for you?
Well, I also, contrary to what anyone has ever perceived from me while I'm out and about, I'm also very introverted, and I love being alone. I love being alone. So I live by myself.
Say, obviously, she's doing great. Look at her.
Well, thanks. So
got a funny outfit
I'm taking
there.
less showers and changing my clothes less often, but no, it's been fine in that regard. I mean, it was about week 3, I think I started to become a little lonely, and just really realizing how much interaction with people contributes to your overall psyche. You know, it's like all of these positive things that had kind of helped me get out of some dark times. The dark times started kind of resurfacing again, those thoughts, because I don't have all these same positive distractions and people around me. And really in the last month, I mean, I've been through a whole array of emotions about this shit. I mean, from just depressed and not wanting to do anything to like, oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna, dance in my living room all day, or to, really just my soul hurting and fearing for our future,
Right.
So I've kind of, in having gone through all of these things, I'm starting to realize kind of just today is the first day I'm really making an effort towards that. But to kind of compartmentalize everything, I've really invested a lot of time in staying up on the facts, and I'm going to say fucking facts, not just bullshit fucking news that we're spoon fed.
Right.
And
good for you, by the way. Good for you.
So I've been doing that a lot. I've been spending a lot of time on Facebook, which is like, I'm so grateful to have that resource right now to keep in touch with everybody. But it can be definitely a slippery slope.
It can be exhausting. You can get a little bit of the headline fatigue and a little bit of the...
Yeah, that, and, people are just so inclined to be dicks. Like, even your friends, like, you wouldn't talk to me like that in person, So I get a little exhausted by that, because really all I ever mean when I'm very opinionated and I'm vocal about stuff. And when I say something about something, I don't want to hear like, oh, whatever, Karen, why don't you call the manager, or thanks for the advice, or, that kind of dumb bullshit.
People are
it's
trying
like,
to call you a Karen?
all the time. Like, we're all in this together. And so, listen to someone who spent more time educating themselves about this than you have, as with any other subject.
Absolutely.
You might fucking learn something,
Well, yeah, it's so important to pay attention to the experts, to the legitimate experts during this whole thing,
and just the conspiracy theory, and sure, there might be, who knows what the fuck, but I'm just it just gets exhausting. So just really kind of trying to compartmentalize how much time I spend on the news, how much time I spend on Facebook, how much time, and because those are both rabbit holes that you can lose your entire day to before you know it. Trying to stay, also engaged in doing some creative stuff. I'm still.
What kind of creative stuff are you doing?
Well, like just so far, just rocking a little bit and like making jewelry. I haven't really.
I want to see you on Riffbook. I want to see you on Riffbook, man.
Oh, I haven't really put a whole lot of. I know I need to participate. I haven't put a whole lot of effort into the creative side of things yet. I spent the first few weeks navigating all of the, paperwork bullshit, trying to get the financial side of things figured out, and then. I'm still teaching with School of Rock, so I do video-based lessons, and then I still have my performance program. I'm directing a History of Punk show right now.
Awesome! I want to see that.
But of course, oh god, it's going to be so great. I've got just so many cool songs, and I've done like the history of punk. So I went kind of from origins to when it goes to hardcore to when it gets a little poppier to skate punk to like mainstream. And so this whole program is based on kids being able to rehearse together, which obviously they can't now. So keeping 18 children engaged on a computer screen has been a challenge.
Right.
But so I've been doing that too. And then actually just today, I just did another one of these kind of interview things. And then a friend of mine in Norway that used to play in one of my favorite bands expressed interest in having me collaborate with him. And we've talked about shit over the years and getting something together forever and just have never made it happen. And so now that we're kind of forced to do things remotely, I've been finding out about interfaces and various things that I can do to record at home with what I have here, and kind of get that ball rolling. So I think now that I've kind of checked myself, kind of checked my head, kind of try to, make sure I'm practicing self-care and, kind of every day is a little different. There's a lot of stuff to process. None of us have been through something like this before. So,
yeah, I mean, I was talking earlier, mentioned it when I was talking we had Dave Sanchez earlier on the show, and
yay!
yeah.
I like to call him Little Davey Havoc.
Oh yeah, I know Davey Havoc.
Well, and Davey Havoc from AFI, right? I think AFI is, but I love him, so I call him Little Davey Havoc.
Yeah, we were just talking about, I don't know if you follow Eric Weinstein at all, but he was talking about how, we're waking up from a 75-year nap. We haven't really had, we've had 9/11, we've had Katrina, we've had events which have happened, we've had tsunamis, we've had events, but nothing really that has engaged the entire world.
Right. It's happening to them. That's happening to them, over there. Right. It's not me. And I think there's still a lot of people. We live in such a me culture here in the States. I think it's been disappointing to see that in action. It's also been nice to see a lot of people step up and be a lot more compassionate.
Right.
Who knows how long that'll last? I think the compassionate people might be more compassionate. Some of the people on the fence might lean towards compassion now. The assholes are always going to be fucking assholes.
Right.
So, it's an interesting sociological thing
experiment,
for sure
yeah.
to see, and I think, and of course, everyone's reacting because nobody knows how to, how do I do this?
There's no precedent for it. Nobody knows how to act.
And until people start to have, friends and loved ones and people that they know personally affected by this outside of being out of work or stuck at home, it might not necessarily change their ways that much. We still see a lot of people out and about and doing their thing. And,
I think that's what it takes for a lot of people, unfortunately, is for them to be personally affected.
Yeah. Well, right. And that, I think that goes for anything, really, but yeah, we're all in, and that's why it's man, we're all in this together. Quit being assholes about this. If I tell you fact A about how this fucking thing spreads, I would love to be wrong. I don't want this thing to be as contagious as it is, but at the same time, you don't have to yell at me and tell me that, I don't know. Fucking...
Well, I think it's important also that we come together and we've got to toe that delicate line of putting the right amount of social pressure on each other without resorting to shaming and making it into tribalism but unfortunately I don't think we're going to get to that point unless we fight a little bit. We're going to have to fight it out a little bit, and leaders and helpers are going to have to emerge and be hey guys, everybody just calm down. This is what we need to do. This is the direction that we need to head. These are the things that need to be done. These are the things that are going to help us rebuild a cohesive society. We're going to have that conflict, and we're going to have the people being dicks to set an example. And go ahead.
I have a question for both of you. Have either of you guys seen Dr. Phil talking to the girl that licked a toilet seat down in Florida?
No.
What?
I did see a picture of a guy licking a toilet seat that supposedly got sick. So tell me more.
Yeah, please do.
All I'm going to say is that, for you guys and anybody who's watching, like, look up this footage because it's interesting. I don't normally go out of my way to watch anything.
Why
by Dr.
did she
Phil,
want to lick the toilet seat? That's
Probably to prove that she was not going to be affected by this.
Yeah, she's like 22 or something, and she's just like, look, I'm young, I'm gonna live, like, who cares? And so that was her whole point, and her post went viral when she licked a toilet seat, And so then, like, Dr. Phil had her on, and he,
did she get
Dr.
sick?
Phil, no, she didn't.
Okay.
That's kind of the whole thing.
It sounds like she was sick before.
Now, yeah, well, she's very sick, obviously, in other ways, but it was what was really hilarious about the end of this video was that, like, Dr. Phil's like, now I don't want anyone to go out of their way to do anything harmful to you because of your ignorance, okay? I don't want to see anybody. Like, he harped on it for like a good 5 minutes. Like, I don't want to see people making death threats. I don't want to see people trying to find your address. I don't want to see people coming to your home. I don't want to see people coming down your chimney with grenades. Like, he made things like this.
It gave a whole lot of ideas.
It was really funny. It was just like how he just kept going on about it. Like, please do not attack her for her ignorance. And it was like, man, you're drawing a little bit too much attention, man.
Oh, I didn't realize you really nailed imitating him, and I didn't realize how much he sounds like Mr. Hanky, or not Mr. Hanky.
Mr. Mackey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's absolutely.
My dad likes Mr. Hanky.
So how's that working for you? Okay.
But that must be who he's based off of, right? I mean, that has to be it.
He was based on an actual teacher.
They're actual teachers, yeah.
Yeah, they were they're based upon
from
characters.
Chatfield
High
those
School.
Guys went to Chatfield. Yeah, that was my rival high school growing up.
Yeah.
Chatfield. And then also the South Park, when some of their stuff in South Park, but
right.
The actual South Park.
Well,
but
Karen,
yeah.
I really appreciate you jumping on and talking with us. I would love to have you back, just on the regular show, and
sure.
And if you get bored, and I'm really glad to hear you're collaborating and stuff like that. I think it's awesome that people are collaborating, and if you ever want to collaborate on anything, you let me know. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll see
when you
what
come
comes.
back. Bring the bunny suit.
We'll see what comes of it. I was really excited to see you with Rose Tattoo.
Yeah.
Wah, wah. Hopefully that'll get rescheduled.
It's getting rescheduled. We just aren't allowed to announce the date yet, but it is getting rescheduled. They just
fair enough.
They have to square away all the postponement stuff. And
is it going to be at the same venue?
I think so, because the promoter. Well, again, that depends. What venues stay open? You know what I mean? Like,
is that who's the promoter there? Is it the Wolfpack?
It's Wolfpack, yeah.
Okay.
It's Anthony Lucero's putting it on. So he did tell me the new date. I'm not at liberty to say it right now,
it might end up getting postponed again and stuff too. So
who knows?
No need for more false information floating around in the
right. I know there's plenty of misinformation. But I want to have you back on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of
I'd
course.
Love to. I
Thanks
always
for
love
coming
talking
on.
with you. I could kill so much time talking with you. The first time when you're like, 3 hours, I was like,
yeah,
and it went just like that.
I would, and if depending on how long this thing stretches out, I'd love to have you on for a Skype chat again. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm around.
Yeah. Hey, let me check my schedule. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, it was so good to see you guys and chat with you for a minute.
It's good to see you too, Karen.
It's awesome. It's good to see that you're safe and healthy.
Yeah, man.
Trying.
Karen Kuda, everybody. Thanks for coming on the program.
Yeah. Stay safe, healthy, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you too, girl.
Okay.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Well, Gordo, I think we had a good episode, man. This was really cool.
It was great.
Got to check in with some friends. We got to spread a little positivity. We got to hear some really really different perspectives, man. Like that was a very good sampling of perspectives going on out there. And I think we should keep this up. We're supposed to have Joe Wellermeyer from former drummer for In the Company of Serpents talking about his new Project Welt. But I haven't heard from him. I'm sure he'll be into it, but we're supposed to have him on the program next week. I'll reach out to him and see if that's still going on, and I'll keep you posted. But hey, everybody, give a big round of applause to Ethan Klein, our fucking tech guru, who helps the podcast happen.
Thank you, Ethan.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for helping us run this thing, dude. We really appreciate it, man. Yeah, well, that's the podcast, everybody. We had a good time. We went for 2 hours, 20 minutes, talked to a bunch of our friends. We tried an experiment, and it worked. I think it worked, too, and it wasn't that hard, was it? No. Is that something that you could...
Always trying experiments, always working. I like the formula.
Yeah, just do stuff. Let this be a lesson to anybody who's out there and is going like, man, I would love to create ABCD. Just fucking start experimenting, banging around. Just throw it on the internet. See what the fuck happens, man.
Yep.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
The time.
And that's the best part, is that nobody cares. And and I mean that in a good way, not like in this like dark, lonely, isolating way, which, you know, there is that too, but like nobody's gonna get mad at you.
It's such a dichotomy, because it can be such a bad thing, but it can also be such a freeing and awesome thing too. Right.
You know, it's amazing. Well, Gordo, I really hope you're healthy. I really hope you're happy. I really hope Mel's doing well. We love you guys. And
same to you and yours.
Yeah, my little boy's asleep, but like I said, I've been side hustling and haven't really been home in like a week, and I'm gonna go spend the next 24 hours with my little boy, man, and I'm really looking forward to it. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to all our healthcare workers, all our sanitation workers, all the people in the food service industry, and all the people who are driving the buses and in the supply chain that are keeping
Get out
us
there and
alive.
howl at 8. Get out there and howl.
Have you been doing that?
Yes,
I have not had a chance to do it yet.
I gotta say, Harvey Park is representing.
Are they?
They are representing. Every night it's been awesome. Yeah.
You know what?
It's really cool to hear it.
Sarah says our cat does not care for it. Hey, those of you who are howling at 8 o'clock, knock it off with the fireworks. It's scaring the animals. Keep howling.
I know these guys with the fireworks. They always have to get in on the action.
I love fireworks, but with
I do
the howling
too.
at the moon thing, come on, you're scaring everybody's pets, man.
Do your fireworks at noon or some shit or whatever. This is howling at 8. Howling at 8. Okay.
Yeah, my cat has been getting kind of freaked out about it, man. It's
of course.
Well, hey, this has been episode 102 of the motherfucking podcast, the official podcast of the International Power Rock Combo motherfucking Ruckus. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. We are going to get the audio from episode 101 here in the next day or two, so stay tuned for that. And we'll have audio from this episode shortly behind that. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive, stay negative. Stay positive and negative. We're going to get through this, human race.
Take care of yourselves, people.
We're going to get through this, planet Earth. Papa loves you. And we'll see you guys next week. This has been the motherfucking podcast. Catch you guys on the flippity flop. Bye-bye.